All right, everybody, welcome back to the Means No Ball podcast. And of course, welcome back to another Sunday morning chat, this being the week 14 edition. Now, obviously, we know the drill. Let's get into NFL news, run down our cash or trash, fantasy news, and just a quick update on our team. So let's get it going.
Yeah, we're not gonna wait any longer, so let's just get it started. So obviously, to begin with, before we get into the Sunday slate, we got some injury updates. Both running backs for the Seattle Seahawks and their star Kenneth Walker are both listed as questionable. So it's going to be a game time decision whether they're going to start or not, and if not, they're going to have to rely on their third string running back in today's game.
Yeah, as for that, there's honestly been a lot of injury updates to go off of. Another one being Amari Cooper. He is listed as questionable for a hip injury. And also a bunch of big names such as right now was Nick Bosa. He is also out. I believe it was also a hip. I might be wrong there, but there's a good amount of big names. Also a couple of big names coming back. The Ravens recently they recently activated J.K. Dobbins, their star running back, obviously, off IR. He's been injured. He had to get a knee surgery and everything, but he's finally back, and hopefully that takes the load off of either Kenyon Drake or whoever they have been really leaving the load on. So that does hopefully pick up some slack, especially now with Lamar Jackson possibly not going to come back until around Christmas.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson is also another one too with his big injury, but everyone pretty self-aware about that one. Non-related injury news. Going back to the Odell Beckham Jr. sweepstakes, the Dallas Cowboys did not offer him a contract because, what do you know? They still fear that he is not ready to play football and he's still recovering from an ACL injury. But from recent news, he should be ready by mid-January. So that is come playoff time. But knowing the Cowboys, I don't think we should sign him at that point. And then relating to the Cowboys as well, James Washington is also debuting his season today against the Texans. So I don't think picking up OBJ would be a factor anymore. But it would still be nice to have another veteran receiver in the team. But we're just gonna have to see in what Jerry Jones does.
And I guess one last injury news. This is pretty important to me, obviously, at least fantasy-wise. Saquon Barkley is listed as questionable also right now due to a neck injury. He is told to be 50-50, so we'll see come game time. It obviously will be a game time decision. And yeah, that time I'll probably elaborate more on the fantasy talk, but yeah, just apart from fantasy, not really NFL, but it's pretty big, especially for us. Star quarterback, the big man Caleb Williams, is obviously just won the Heisman last night. USC star quarterback couldn't get it done in the end with in the Pac-12 championship, leaving USC out of the playoff. But still, there's a lot to build off of and a lot of improvement for the Trojans. So that is just about all the NFL news that we'll probably cover today. I don't know if we have much else, but yeah, we could basically run down to cash or trash, which let's run down last week, which was tight ends. And for our cash picks, I went with Pat Freiermuth, obviously from my fantasy team, and Christian, you went with George Kittle, which Kittle only got you 4.2. Wasn't really much of a factor against the Dolphins, even in a pretty big win. But Freiermuth did give me 10.6, so I was able to take a nice victory there. And as for trash, Hayden Hurst was only able to get 3.2, but that was enough, obviously, since you taking Kyle Pitts without knowing. Yeah, I did give you the option to just look it in, and I would have edited it out for you, but took it like a man, and you'll take a little DQ for this week, and yeah, so I'm not sure if I've done this yet, but yeah, I got both wins on this one. A little asterisk on the trash one, but I'll take it. So yeah, Christian, go ahead and let's talk about what we got this week.
Yes, so starting out with cash and trash, we got the defenses this week. Skipping O-line once again because we're surely going off fantasy. So for my cash defense, I will be going for the 49ers. That scary defense. It's just the easiest pick to go with for that defense. It should get at least 10 points, maybe or more. With my trash defense, I got Broncos. Chiefs are gonna have a field day against them. It is going to be ugly. There could be a possibility. Who knows? It could be a close game, but with how the Chiefs are looking right now, coming up a pretty tough loss against the Bengals last week, they should be playing angry, and the Broncos are just unlucky to be the team they go up against. So I got Broncos defense for trash.
To see that going pretty well for you. But as for me, for cash, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks defense. They've been, I mean, obviously they're not the most well known for their defense, but when they're facing a team like the Panthers, which it's not. I mean, they have one of probably the worst offenses, so I would feel pretty good with my chances there. And as for trash, this would be another pretty easy pick, and I would expect them to get possibly negative points this week. It would be the Texans. Going up against your Cowboys, of course, Christian. As we said in the predictions a couple days ago, this is gonna get ugly. It's gonna be to me worse than the Colts game, obviously. So I would expect both of these trash picks that we get pretty good. So let's just see who gets into the most negative points. So that out of the way, let's get back into fantasy, and as always, our teams will be up on the screen. And for me, this is subject to change with Saquon's injury, but for my quarterback, I am gonna go back with Deshaun. He was rusty last week, only got me about 5 points, I think. So I'll see. This is probably the last week I'll really see with him if he doesn't do the best. I mean, this is playoffs start next week, so if I get in, we'll see. But if not, I mean, it's only time will tell what I do with Watson. But yeah, as for running backs, Derrick Henry, I expect a lot from him, especially against the Jaguars. And as for Saquon, he is in there for me at the moment, but I did go and pick up one of the Seahawks backup running backs, since with Walker and Dallas out. That is a possibility that he'll get more of a workload. I believe I got a homer. And my receivers, obviously Tyreek Hill. Don't expect the Chargers to slow him down too much, so I'd expect a good 20 from him. And Mike Williams, I'm finally got him back. He's been on and off. The injury report, he was out last week, was back the week before, and then out. So he's good to go this week. So it is a tough Dolphins defense, but I would expect him to get get 15. A tight end, Freiermuth, he's been solid. Obviously, he got me a win in cash or trash. I expect a good game for him. Devin Singletary is my flex. Pretty expected. As I've been going throughout these past couple weeks, he's going against the Jets, so he has been slowing down recently, but I do expect him to have a solid enough game here. My defense, the same defense I went with for cash or trash. I picked up the Seahawks, as I always cycle my defenses. I just see a really good matchup with the Panthers, and I expect a pretty solid game for the Seahawks here. And of course, my kicker, Daniel Carlson, who already got me 12 points on Thursday night. Can't ask for nothing better there. So I'm pretty. I feel pretty good, at least how that's going so far.
Yeah, I mean, just hope you get that win, especially since playoffs are next week, and goes for both of us trying to get to that top 6. But it only comes down to one. So moving on with my fantasy team. So right off the bat, Dak Prescott, I'm my quarterback. He's been doing fairly good. It's just those interceptions that have been losing up points. So he's really got to dial it down. Be a little more accurate with those passes. But still got faith in him. Defend that man with my whole life. My running backs, I have Aaron Jones and Ezekiel Elliott at my running back. So pretty okay. Aaron Jones, regardless without him getting touchdowns, he still gets me plus 10 points. Especially with Zeke, he's been getting going now. So they should get at least a couple of points for me. It should be okay. Now with my 1-2 punch, my receivers AJ Brown and Jay Jettis. AJ Brown had a monster week against his former team, the Titans, last week, so really did help me. Same with Justin Jefferson. He had a pretty great game too. Really helped me as well. Moving on with my tight end, I have Mike Gesicki. I've been praising Mike Gesicki on fantasy, and he has been lacking lately. Not gonna lie, I think he got me like 4 points last week, but I still got the one win. But hopefully he gets a little bit more productive, gets more targets, and hopefully he can get me at least 10 points. Maybe 12, 13. We'll have to see with that. At the flex position, I have George Pickens. I decided to start putting George Pickens now because I have my other players on bye. But George Pickens, I think he is moving his way up to the. I'm pretty sure he is the option one, the receiver one for Steelers now after trading away Chase Claypool to the Bears. So hopefully, Kenny Pickett does utilize him more in the air game, in the pass game. My defense, obviously, I got my Cowboys defense. They put up 19 points for me last week, and we're going against an even worse team, the Texans. So it's gonna. I would hope it gets ugly for the Texans, and Cowboys put on a clinic. So hopefully they get me at least 20 points. Could help me a lot. Then obviously my kicker, the man himself. Actually, Will Lutz is on bye. I actually have Jake Elliott now. So obviously not too bad. Jake Elliott's a pretty solid kicker for the Eagles. And they are going against the Giants with a very banged-up Giants team. So there should be tons of scoring for the Eagles, and Jake Elliott should get me at least a decent amount of points.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's probably going to come down to either one of us, or if we both miss it. So we'll see how the standings come out. But yeah, the best man win. See who gets into the playoffs next week. And of course, get our last segment, our last minute takes. As for my Rams, obviously we already came up pretty satisfying Thursday night win. I'm not going to go too in depth on it just because I don't want it to get too repetitive with my full analysis that I'll give into it for the full episode. But I mean, the story's Baker. I mean, what a just a great comeback. He was there for like less than 2 days and got to learn the playbook real quick and came in and just he looked like he's been there all year. And I mean, it looked like he had chemistry. It looked like just that was his team, and just a great veteran presence. Hopefully if this does stick around, if this is more than just a one-game wonder, then I mean, this could be great. I hate to say it with how much I did fall in love with Stafford over the course of last season, but if Stafford isn't able to match what Baker does, I mean, this is probably going to be a QB battle, see who gets QB1 for next season. But I wouldn't mind riding with Baker from here on out. And sure, it's pretty bleak, but mathematically there is still a chance for the Rams to get into the playoffs if the Seahawks just collapse, the Giants just collapse, and a couple other things. And of course, if we win out, I'm not expecting it to happen, but you never know. Football's been pretty crazy this year, so we'll know if we can sneak in as a 7th seed. Not holding too much hope out, though.
Hey, man. Any given Sunday in the NFL, it could happen. It could possibly happen if you guys win now, and if the Cards play your way, 7th seed, but very slim chance. Very slim chance.
Yeah.
Now, as of my Cowboys, with the other side of the story, I've actually been fairly amazed this season. Honestly, this season has been probably better than last year's, because last year was a little sloppier, but I feel like this season is a little more complex with this team. This defense has gotten better. With the return of Dak Prescott, we have been averaging 30-plus points a game. I think it was like 35, 37 a game. So, excuse me, him getting back into the lineup was really good. It was a really game changer. But once again, like I've said, just like Stafford had this problem last year. His interceptions he's been throwing lately, and he's thrown 7 in the past 5 games, I think. I don't know what's up with him. I think I don't want to say it's because of his thumb, because I mean, hey, from the way he's playing, other than those interceptions, he's been playing great. But I don't want to say the thumb is a big factor in it. It could possibly be a factor, but he just gotta lay low, be a little more accurate, and he cannot be forcing throws like that. That's literally all I ask for, and come playoff time, he can't be doing that. But regardless and everything, CD is doing amazing. The chemistry with Dak is finally getting going. Michael Gallup, he's kind of shaking off the ACL injury that he suffered against the Cardinals. I think it was actually in January of this year. So, with all being said, this team has been really, really showing a lot of heart, grit. Really love it. Dan Quinn has really changed the defense around. McCarthy, regardless of his clock management, sometimes of his poor decision making, he really did somewhat change his team around with Dak Prescott leading the team, and seeing Zeke finally looking like his rookie self really does make me happy that he's back, and with him and Pollard in the backfield, using that as a 1-2 punch in the playoffs, getting that going, we could be very scary, especially with that defense. So with that being said, I expect a huge win from the Cowboys today. Really, really big win today, and I really, really hope we make a big run in the playoffs. Beating Philly is going to be our main priority coming up this week, and I do think if we do beat Philly on Christmas Eve, it could be a big momentum changer coming into the playoffs.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this week you expect a pretty big win, obviously, but yeah, we'll see how it goes out. Still a possibility to win division. And if the Rams do get in as a 7th seed, we could possibly see a nice little Rams-Cowboys playoff matchup in AT&T Stadium. So
yeah,
hold out hope for that. But yeah, as for that, that's gonna wrap us up here for another Sunday morning chat here, week 14. As always, I'll show our appreciation for everyone that gets up to watch these. Shows any sort of support, I'll always appreciate it. And yeah, just hurry up, get this out, and go watch some football. Season's obviously wrapping up soon, so let's watch what we got left. And I guess, Christian, anything from you to send us off?
Honestly, once again, nothing much. We just like to thank all you guys for sticking around, watching our content, and keeping up with it. And yeah, pretty much wraps it up. Watch some football, like you said, season's wrapping up. Use it while we can, and we'll see you guys later this week for the episode.